Once upon a time, a wise man was headed up to the mountains for a retreat. And on his way, he sees a younger man who's trying to saw down a tree. This younger man, he's sweating, he's breathing heavy, he's not making any progress. The wise old man pulls off to the side of the road, walks over and says, "Excuse me, son, I noticed you're having some trouble there. Have you thought about taking a moment out to sharpen your blade?" "What are you talking about? I gotta saw this thing down. I gotta cut this tree down. I don't have time to stop and sharpen my saw." Blows off the old man, goes back to working, not making any progress. Just working, no progress. How many here can relate to that scenario? Where you feel like you're working so hard, you're just pounding the pavement and you're just spinning your wheels. Has anybody been in that type of situation before? I would say that we are just a product of our environment, because this is the world that we live in right now. Imagine that every day, every waking minute of your day, it's essentially like you're at home with Claudia's 2 infants in both of your ears saying, "Mom, mom, 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 mom." But it's not 2 infants, it's our smartphones, and it's the advertising, and it's the news alerts, the push notifications. And so because of all these things, we are on sensory overload. And that sensory overload means that we have lost a critical skill that we used to have. We've let ourselves go. And I don't mean that we've let ourselves go physically, although that is kind of like a side effect. We've let ourselves go mentally. So we've lost the ability to have focus, attention, and tune out distractions. And so what I'm proposing today is a few ideas that can give you maybe a few habits to take with you, because that's kind of what we're talking about today, is health and wellness. And instead of just bombarding you with, all right, here's a nap, here's another practice, here's something else you can do, I'm saying let's do less. Let's figure out how we can calm that noise of all the to-dos and maybe just find the things that really matter and do less. Does that sound good? You guys interested in hearing my 3 tips?
Yes.
All right. So this is 3 ways of finding focus in a noisy digital world. Number 1, we need to reclaim our white space. So this is a concept that I know doing graphic design for ICD. If I'm designing a flyer, I know that if this flyer has just information in every square inch of the flyer, if it's got different fonts, different colors, different graphics, the eye will not be able to focus on any central message. You need to have white space around the thing that you really want people to pay attention to. Now, it doesn't need to be the color white. It could just be blank space, neutral space. But there was a podcaster on a health podcast that said recently that our inability to focus is due to a lack of white space in our lives. So I have a challenge for you, because since we are just becoming products of our environment, and it seems like we're just getting worse and worse and becoming more ADD, the next time that you find yourself where you have a gap of time to fill, maybe you're standing at line at Starbucks, maybe you're at the DMV, maybe you're waiting for your food to arrive at lunch, instead of having that knee-jerk reaction, "Oh, where's my phone? I gotta get on my phone and see what's going on," put your phone in airplane mode so that you don't get any push notifications, and force yourself to put it down, and you can stare out the window, you can do some good old-fashioned people watching, or maybe just sit with your thoughts and just, how am I feeling right now? What's going on? How is my day going? A little bit of old school time, just to unplug. Okay, so that's number 1. Number 2 is the coffee shop effect. So there are researchers at University College in London who said that when we change our environment, we get a dopamine release in our brains. And so we've already heard about in this meeting how some people like to go outdoors and in nature. Some people like to go work out at the gym because being in a different environment, that kind of is motivating. It makes you feel good versus just being in your same environment at home. So the thing is, when we are scanning through and seeing new stimuli on our phone, that's giving us little bursts of dopamine. So we are feeding our addiction the more that we just scan in every little pocket of our day. And so what you can do is you can counteract that. Give your brain that dopamine, but do it by changing your environment. And so if you go to a coffee shop, to do some work that you have to do with your laptop or a book, you will be able to naturally focus more than if you were at home or in a familiar environment. And so that's kind of front loading your brain with dopamine, where it gets that reward up front. So then your brain's like, oh, okay, I feel better now because I have that reward. I'm not trying to trudge through this. And so give that dopamine up front. I would say we should be the ones kind of deciding when we get the dopamine by choosing our environment, changing our environment, not being addicted to some device that's going to give it to us mindlessly. Okay, and number 3 is nostril breathing. So there may be some of you who are saying, you know, I have family at home. They're always like, I don't have the luxury of just getting away. I can't just go to a coffee shop. I don't have control over my time. I work so much. All right, well, this is something that everybody can do. It only takes a few minutes, and what it does is it trains your brain to focus on just one thing, which is breathing. Because what you're gonna do is your body is only gonna be able to focus on getting enough oxygen to survive, to breathe. So let's do it right now. I want you to plug one of your nostrils. Start with your left side. Inhale. Exhale. Keep going. Inhale. Exhale. One more time. Okay, switch. Plug the right nostril. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. Okay, unplug. Just breathe normally. How do you feel? Relax.
Zen down a little bit.
So normally you'll do that multiple times, left, right, but for the sake of time, I just want to congratulate you because you are right now feeling what it's like to be focused, what it's like to be mindful, and what it's like to have your mental power harnessed so that nothing can stand in your way. And so I would say, instead of walking around with dull blades, sharpen that saw, and the only question left is, what are you going to do with it? I leave it to you.